Hey everyone. So today is 366, I believe, of the journey to 2000 ELO. And that means that, I started this challenge November 8th, 2023. It is exactly 1 year later, and here we are. I figured I would just show my progress and give you guys an idea of basically how much rating I was able to gain and how much chess I played. Some tips maybe I can provide, and then some things you might just learn looking at, my progress, where I got stuck. I plateaued for a long time at 1700, and then all of a sudden I kind of shot up from like 1750 to like 1800, and then I think not long after 1900. And I do have an idea of why that happened and what helped me get past that hump. So I'll certainly share my insights there with you guys. Just so you guys know, I basically started the journey around 1700. I think the first video I was at 1690. And just today, I actually grinded out and got kind of a winning streak back up to 1930. My all-time peak has been, or was 1948 that I hit on September 13th, 2024. And then just give some overall like encouragement to those of you who are watching, who are trying to reach a certain rating, whether it's 1000, 1500, 2000, or even higher. I mean, I probably won't be as much of use for those of you who are trying to get higher than, I don't know, 2200 online, 2300 online, or OTB, whatever. And then lastly, basically remind everyone that you gotta love this game. Like, you have to remember to like it. You can't focus too much on rating. It's important to keep your own mental health in mind, because as you all know, first of all, you should just do that anyways. Like, you should not let anything get in the way of your own mental health. That's a whole other thing I'll do a video on, but it's super important for your chess. You guys should all know, especially if you played like over the board, right? Your mood impacts your chess like crazy. So yeah, first of all, I'll start with today. It was the last day. I woke up like around 10, I think, which was actually pretty early for me today. Just played a bunch of chess. I immediately jumped into some rapid games. And today, let's just take a look. I'll switch my view here. How many games did I play today? All right, so I played a good amount. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, if I counted that right. Well, around 18 games. And I did gain some rating. So when I started, let's see, today, earlier, I was still below 1900. I was at 1885. And I'm currently sitting at 1929. So my peak was 1948. I did actually get to 1938 or something today. And then, basically just started here. Let me actually add my camera here so you guys can see it all. One moment. Okay. I'll just make this all tiny. Yeah, so basically I was able to just go on a bit of a winning streak today, but then as you guys can see, like by the results right here, I had a pretty good, like 4 games in a row, which for rapid is pretty good. And then these 2 games, I was winning both of them and threw them both. And so I was like, okay, I'm probably getting a little bit tired, or I don't know what's happening. Eventually, by the time I got to this last game, I was like, okay, I'm gonna let this be the last one for today. I don't really feel like grinding it out. If it was this hard to get back up to 1930, I think that to get from 1930 to get to 2000, it's going to take some while. So anyways, that's where I currently am. I'm satisfied enough with the progress that I've made in 1 year. When I started this 1 year ago, the first video, I was at 1680 something, 1690. But let's just go to like we can do maybe the 1 year view here. 2023. Okay, so here we go. This should tell us. Basically, I was around 1700. I plateaued for a long, long time. I was plateaued for a long time at 1700, kind of floating between 17 and 1750. And then all of a sudden, I finally got up to 1900. I hit 1900. Shortly after that, got up to like 1950. And that was like, I was playing my best chess possible. I was absolutely slaying 1900s, 2000s. I felt super confident. Of course, I still had bad games, but overall, I felt like for me, it was some of my best chess possible. And then, as you guys can tell, it kind of dropped back down, and I've been staying around, 1860 to like 1900, trying to get back to 1900. So, you might be asking like yourself like what changed? You were plateaued, and I'm telling you, I was plateaued at 1700 for much longer than just that. If we look to the first time I hit 1700, was like basically, let's just say July, somewhere around July 2023. So that's like a year and a half. Like it was like a good at least a year that I was just kind of stuck at 1700, and I was playing at least, a game more or less per day, or like, because when I was doing this challenge, I was putting up videos every day. The big changes I feel like in my play, and I talk about this all the time in my streams, is that when I got this win streak that got me to 1900, I just sort of started noticing that 1800s blunder all the time, 2000s blunder all the time. That's just the reality of it. Like a 2000, 1800 to 2000 on chess.com really is not that good. I mean, I know that that's like very subjective, but what I mean to say is that they blunder all the time. They make terrible moves all the time. It's just normal. Like, we're human. I don't mean that to like criticize people in a negative way, but just it's the reality of it. So I started noticing that, and noticing how, whether I was playing a 10-minute games or 15-minute games, if I just kind of took the time to play the best move that I could find, the big difference, okay? So the big shift between when I was stuck between, when I was stuck at 1700 and when I hit 1900 was really just pointing out to myself while I was playing my opponent's bad moves. And I'm going to show you guys an example of this, okay? I'm going to show you a game here that kind of gives you an example of what I mean when I say noticing your opponent's mistakes or inaccuracies and how to like capitalize on it. So this was a London opening. I played the London. A lot of people say it's boring, and granted, sometimes it definitely is. This particular setup right now, I learned a trap. There's lots of ideas for traps here. One of them is like a bishop a6 move that's pretty nasty, but there's some other stuff too. And we just keep going along. I keep developing. Some moves are best moves, some moves are not. But I saw already here that after queen b3, my opponent obviously has to address the threat of b7, the queen attacking b7, because if I were to take that, it'd be very bad if I took that pawn. So I kind of was debating between queen a4 and queen b3, went with the queen b3, which it looks like it was the best. The reason is now, and I knew to look for this because, pattern recognition and just watching a lot of videos, when the bishop comes out really early like that, often the best response is to attack the weak b7 pawn, because how else, the usual defender is no longer there. He plays b6, and this looks like totally normal, but recognizing these kinds of things was really what helped me get from like the 1700 to 18 to 1900. Is now, this isn't a mistake or an inaccuracy, but it is already, black already has to be very careful because there's tactics here, and they have to be very careful. So next I go bishop b5, because I noticed that these light squares are extremely weak, and the light square bishop cannot defend them anymore. So I can take advantage of that, and he's going to have to come out here and block with his knight, and I'm basically just going to pile up the pressure. So I saw all of this. I saw that it's going to go here, and then knight e5, and then I was like, okay, how can I add pressure? Can I win this piece? And that's basically what the whole game turned into, was me just trying to win that knight. If I win the knight, I win the game. Unless you're not good at like converting, you win the game. I keep piling on the pressure. And then at this point, my opponent, played a mistake. And it makes sense, right? They're wanting to remove that knight, so kind of take off some of the pressure from the knight on d7. But what they didn't see was that there's this tactic where, okay, so I actually messed this up, but then they messed it up. Anyways, in this example, they took back. I went here. Where's the win? They took, okay. Here, okay, we get to this position. And this isn't necessarily, I mean, this is kind of a mistake by my opponent, but also tactical awareness on my part. I saw that, okay, he really wants to castle, obviously, because he is stuck guarding this knight. So black really, really wants to castle, but they can't because it drops the knight. And they were lining up b5. They wanted to play b5 because it would shut this all down. So I saw that. And that's another huge part of this, I think, guys, is like, you have to recognize your opponent's moves. You have to look at what your opponent's plans are, not just your own plans. Everyone, you hear this a lot. And I get a lot of people saying like, dude, you need to play faster. You're taking way too much time. I disagree. I think that in a 10-minute rapid game, yes, you do have to be conscious of your time. But if you go play like that in like a classical tournament, you're going to get wrecked. You're going to get absolutely wrecked by like the local 1500 club player because they're actually thinking and calculating your moves and their own. You have to do that. And that's where this idea came up, was because I saw that they were trying to go for b5. And so I thought, wait a second, this bishop's undefended. So what if I take, this is forcing, right? So you want to calculate forcing moves first. If I take, this is pretty forcing, you know, because otherwise I'm grabbing the rook afterwards. They have to take back with the queen. And then basically takes, queen takes. The king obviously has to take back, all forcing. And then I get the fork. And this wins the game. And then the rest of the game I was able to convert. So then the converting, this part was this was the other huge improvement in my chess that got me to 1900, I would say, is that they say, you know, what's the saying? Like, whatever, I forgot what the exact saying is, but converting a winning position is actually the hardest thing to do. It's when you're losing where, you know, you just don't care anymore and you start playing super fast and you just start chucking pieces and pawns. You don't care. So it's like not hard. But when you're winning and then the nerves set in and you're under pressure, you get like the Gotham chess, you know, the levy, you get anxiety, you get anxious, and then you just botch it, right? Changing that definitely helped my chess. And I think that endgame, like fundamental endgame understanding has helped me do that. So the rest of this game, I'm just basically thinking, okay, trades, I'm up a piece, so I'm just going to do everything that I can to trade, vacuum up pawns, and then push the pawns to make a queen. If you can get a pawn and push it to make a queen, then you're good to go. You know, activate your king. This game certainly wasn't like a masterpiece, but, you know, with 1 minute on the clock, I was still able to convert this. It was not the easiest to do, but I have really improved on, you know, playing under time pressure. This kind of, I got lucky. I actually didn't realize that they couldn't move the rook over because the knight was covering that square. So I saw here, right, they're going to stick their king in front of the pawn. Then I saw, okay, well, I need to get a knight here to give the king a check so that I can queen. And that's exactly what I did. I hit the rook with tempo. Computer says it's a mistake, but I think it's okay. And then I queen. That is the big difference that got me to like 1900. Now, obviously, I haven't hit 2000. I don't think that there's that many differences. I would say that from where I am right now, 1930 to 2000, you know, I would say players that play very fast and also very well, like they really put the pressure on you with time if you're playing in the 10-minute pool, those ones are really hard. And quite honestly, I still don't get it. Like, I don't get how some people will spend twice the time and play literally 2 times as poorly. And then like other people, I mean, there is cheating for sure. There's cheating, but I abort all games against accounts made in 2024. So I think that I am facing fewer cheaters. I played a couple people today, where I think it was like right after this winning streak that I was on today. Let's go back to this is today. So I had like 4 games in a row, and one of these guys here, I can't remember which one, just like crushed me, absolutely crushed me. Maybe it was this guy, and with no time. And I just didn't really know what to say. Like, let me see if it was this one. Yeah, so this was it was a Benoni, and I'm not as great, so I probably made some inaccuracies and stuff, but like, look at the dude's time. We're on move, what is this? We're on move 10. He spent a minute. I'm already down to, you know, he's a minute up on the clock. We get here, it's like, look at this. We're on move 16, and the dude has spent a minute 30, and he's already winning, and it's like, I don't know what to, you know, with those opponents, I don't really know. But what I can say is that My favorite strategy at this level is take your time in the opening. You want to put yourself in the mindset of try to find the best move. Don't take forever to do it, but let's say you take like 20 seconds, right? In the opening middle game, you probably found at least a couple candidate moves. And if you've checked, you've gone over like your checks, captures, attacks, you've gone over some lines in your head, and you're trying to be conscious of your time. Okay, maybe just pick the one that intuitively feels right. You don't need to like calculate all the way to the end. You just don't have the time for that. But calculate every damn move. Calculate every damn move. Don't be lazy. That's my advice to anyone who's trying to increase their elo. Honestly, if you were to sum up all of chess, people who ask, how do I get to 1000 elo? How do I get to 1500 elo? Well, basically, it's just recognizing that you're probably making like loads of mistakes. So first step is to just become aware of those mistakes, right? And that means not blundering. Anti-blunder check. What are my opponent's checks, captures, attacks? And then honestly, just by the way, up until like 1500 elo, I would say follow the holy grail of chess. Follow the chess principles. Follow the opening principles, and you're already going to beat like most of your opponents. You might lose because you blunder like in the end, or you don't know how to convert, and that's totally different. But like literally, most people are not at all following the opening principles. Just follow the opening principles. Get your pieces out. Get the rooks to the center. Control the center, all that kind of stuff. And anyways, basically back to my point, if there was just one piece of advice that I could give to anyone, up to like 1900 elo, because after that, yeah, I've heard what you're supposed to do to get better, but I'm not going to speak to that. Up to like 1900 elo, if there's like one thing that I can say, it is to think, calculate. Don't be lazy. You need to challenge yourself, okay? So sometimes your brain is doing its best and it has its limits. So you need to train it. You need to work out, right? If you go to the gym and you're trying to lift, I don't know, like if you're trying to bench press a certain weight, you can't do it. Well, don't like think that you suck because you can't lift that weight that one day. Start training, start doing bench like 3 times a week or whatever you need to do. And then eventually it's going to go up and it's going to go up. It's going to go up. That is where the training comes in, where you're doing tactical puzzles, positional puzzles, practicing your openings, doing some endgame drills, reading books, whatever you want, right? You're training your brain, you're training your intuition, your reflexes and all that, your pattern recognition, and you come back at it and you keep doing that. But you have to have the mindset of thinking, right? If any of you have had a lesson with a chess coach, depending on the coach, it's really useful because they'll look at your game and be like, what the hell was that? Like, what were you thinking here, right? And it's funny, there's this effect, at least for me, where I will look at games in the past, even if it was just yesterday that I played, where I made some mistakes, whatever, and then I'm explaining them to my coach, and I'm like, yeah, but I kind of have this feeling of like, yeah, but I know it's stupid. I already know. But it's like, do you though? Because you probably keep making those mistakes. We probably, all of us, keep making those mistakes. And yeah, you can start to see patterns. You can start to see like, oh wow, I make this mistake a lot. I need to stop making this mistake. How do you do that? You need to think. You need to calculate. And more importantly, you need to second guess yourself, right? Maybe I shouldn't say second guess. Just double check your math. I did a video on this and I decided to call it like double check your math. You think you got the answer right? This is a quiz, right? This game that you're playing right now, it's a quiz. That means nerves are not going to help you. So you shouldn't freak out. You should just like relax, chill, do whatever you got to do to chill, breathe, relax. But if it's a test and you got the time, right? Like maybe it's 10 minutes you have for the test. You got like 3 answers left and I don't know, there's 5 minutes left. Take the time you need to like go over the answer again. Make sure that it's right. What does it hurt? You need to practice that. You have to double check your moves. You have to check. You have to check your checks, check captures, attacks, and just do that until it becomes a routine. That is the biggest piece of advice that I can give to you guys. When I was at my strongest, I'll show you guys really quick. Like, okay, so yeah, here something, I must have been doing something good. And it actually would be a good idea to go back and look at these games to see like what the hell I was doing. But I went from 1900. Wow. I went from 1900 actually, or sorry, I went from 1800, which was pretty low. And it looks like from August 14th to, where is it? So let's just say whatever, August 15th, I hit 1893. Then I drew, so that didn't get me there, and then it probably dropped down. Whatever. I almost gained 100 elo points in like a day. Pretty big winning streak here. And I know that I think it was around this time when I, hit 1900. I was just on fire. Like I just felt like I was on fire, but I noticed that the big difference was that every game I was playing, I was just like, my opponent is human and they're going to make mistakes. They're not stockfish, so I know that they're going to make some mistakes and inaccuracies. Now, I might too, but my job is to play the best moves that I can and try to find when my opponent makes a mistake and try to think, how can I capitalize on this? If you have to take more time during your games, take more time to develop this habit. And that's all I can say. So, yeah, I mean, the journey continues. I'm gonna keep playing. I know that I can hit 2000. Absolutely. I would like to hit 2000 on chess.com. And then I think I will take a very big break, at least in terms of like playing seriously. I will be switching to over the board chess. That is going to be my main focus. That's where I'm going to be pouring my energy into. I do think that's probably better for developing your overall chess, is playing games that are at least 15 minutes, but more like classic games of an hour, 30, whatever. That's actually when I noticed, when I hit my peak a long time ago, like a year and a half ago, when I hit 1700 for the first time, then I went straight up to 1750. I was playing a lot of classical chess. I was playing tournaments and stuff like all the time. So that's what I would like to do. Grind out to 2000 elo. We'll see how long it takes. I hope this helps you guys in some kind of way, whether you're, 500, 1000, 1500 elo or more. And also just to give you guys some encouragement. The YouTube community, depending on who it is, and the chess community is not always the most encouraging. So I am here to remind you as a viewer, you can do it. It is only a question of how much time and effort you're willing to put into something like anything. Like, have you ever watched a Disney movie, or did you, and if you haven't, like, you gotta, like, you have to be the one that believes in yourself, period. I know that I'm saying this and I gave myself this challenge to reach 2000 elo, and then like in 1 year. The 1 year thing, to be honest, was mostly because there's a hell of a lot of people doing this on YouTube. I had to stand out some way, and that was my way of standing out. I'm not going to like hold a carrot, on a stick over my head and like lash myself when I don't reach that goal. No, but have goals and everything. But anyways, you got to believe in yourself. You can do it. Seriously, it's just a question of how badly do you want it? How much time and effort are you willing to put into this? If you decided tomorrow to become like a professional, I don't know, MMA fighter, is it possible? Absolutely. Are you going to need to take your training to the next level? Yes, absolutely. But one step at a time, right? Like one step at a time. You don't need to do it all overnight. So you guys can do it. The chess community likes to, I've noticed at least, chess and YouTube community, there's a lot of naysayers. There's a lot of people who like to point out that they know more, or that you cannot do it, or it's not reasonable, or, don't listen to any of it. That's total bullshit. I could debate you, and I'm perfectly happy to. Leave in the comments your arguments for why it would not be possible for someone to get to like 2000 in a year. I've had a lot of people say that's just not possible. You shouldn't tell people. I've literally seen it. There's several people that have done that, not me, but I'm happy to debate you guys if you want to in the comments, if there's any naysayers. Otherwise, to those of you who are just trying to improve your chess and looking for tips, keep going. Don't focus too much on rating, despite this whole challenge. Do not focus too much on your rating. You got to enjoy it. You got to enjoy it just like anything. That's what's going to keep the engine going. Yeah, so the journey continues. I will be putting out more rapid videos, so I'll see you in the next one.